Welcome to the Big O Money Show. My name is Bill Altman, here with co-host Tony Shore, right here at the Premier Group Studios, here 120th and Stonegate, right between Blondo and Maple and the Big O. Welcome. Hope everybody's having a fantastic week or had a fantastic week and you're ready for the week ahead. We have a lot to talk about, a lot of stuff going on. We'll talk a little bit about juicing too. We'll throw a little extra in there for you. Tony, how are you doing?
Well, I'm not currently juicing, but I'm doing great, Bill. I've had a great week. We were talking about all the things we've got going on. I've got a family vacation coming up. I've been keeping busy. It's just been crazy. How about you?
Same deal here, Tony. I mean, we're keeping real busy. It's been a busy summer. There's always a little lull throughout the year for sure. And that's typically right around that summertime. That I think that should be. It's probably typical of a lot of businesses, maybe besides the resort businesses or besides
Right.
the pools and all that kind of stuff, right?
Sure.
But as for like business and finance, it seems to be a little bit more of a lull during that time. However, we have been keeping busy. The phones have been ringing. People are needing help with the new bill, the new Trump bill, the big, new, beautiful, brilliant, fantastic bill, right? That's been passed, and it's a
It's
$3 trillion
big.
bill,
Yeah.
and it's supposed to provide more revenue over time and decrease spending over time. So it's almost like you got to spend to get, right? We got to
Right.
spend money to make money. We'll see if that works out. The goal is for it to work out. We have stuff on the show. I shouldn't say stuff, but really good information, a really good topic
Yes.
on the show to talk about for seniors, retirees, especially, which will help them with their taxes and their Social Security and their taxable income for the year and all that kind of good stuff right there.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot in that bill. The big word is for sure accurate. It's 970 pages. So we're going to be finding out a lot more about what this bill does over the next year or two. But the immediate thing seems to be the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act was made permanent, so we get to keep our lower taxes for now, at least.
That's
Um,
yep. That
which is
was brought in. That was brought in 2017, right?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. But, what I liked most about that initial bill, the tax bill back in 2017, was the standard deduction was raised. And that's really helped middle income people, especially. Man, when a couple has like $30,000, their standard deduction is $30,000. That's big, right?
That's
I mean,
significant, right? Especially
yeah,
then you might have child tax credits as well and other credits that come
yes,
along with that.
right. Yeah, I think that's huge. Now, this one adds a lot, doesn't it? It adds for seniors, it adds more of a standard deduction, I've heard.
Right. I think you can get up to about $48,000 as a deduction for seniors. And it could be limited based on your income. So if you're a higher earner, this could be phased out a little bit on you. So you'd want to
Sure.
call us and talk to us about that to see how that all works for you. But just think about the first $48,000 of your income for a married couple being completely eliminated off your return. And that's what this adds.
Yeah, in retirement, that's huge for people. I think because it adds that $6,000. The bill adds another 6,000 called a bonus deduction for people over 65. And Bill, you're right. I mean, and you've talked about this before on shows how we need to help senior citizens, help the middle class, and this bill really does that in that. It adds that 6,000 to there's already an additional standard deduction for people over 65. And this is in addition to that. So all three put together, the standard deduction for couples, the additional deduction for those over 65, and now the bonus deduction, it totals between $44,000 and $48,000 for most retirees out there. That's going to help them, right? I mean, that could even affect other things, right?
Right. And as you mentioned pre-show, standard or the actual Social Security taxation on the federal side, people thought was going to go away, but this kind of takes the place of that. So
Right.
it's this instead of that is really what this is. And
Yep.
and as for that, like you were talking, that standard deduction, even for non-retirees, that standard deduction is kept the same. And that's been signed into law. Now, can law be changed? Well, of course it can. right? But as for right now, there is no expiration date on it, which it's nice. You don't have to itemize. So if you're just if you don't have a whole lot of charitable contributions or a whole lot of itemizations or different businesses that are S corps or LLCs or however you're doing different things, you might not have those same standard deductions. And so now you have or you might not have those itemizations, right? And they're all different. So everybody's trying to grasp, get your goodwill receipt, get this deduction, get that deduction. What are we missing? Now it's just a signed into law, permanent
Right.
$30,000 for a married couple standard deduction.
Right. And that standard deduction is permanent, but just to clarify, that bonus 6,000 deduction, it can be phased out with income. I think for a couple, it's well over two.
2020. Oh, you're
Yeah, I
talking
think it's
about income, right?
yeah, it's well over $200,000. I think it's $200,000 or more. Then they start. Then it'll be phased out at around that level. But the $6,000 bonus deduction for those over 65 does expire in 2028.
That's right.
So it's just for the duration of this current Trump administration term. But we'll see if it's popular, which I know we know it will be. It's going to bring some people down into a zero tax or close to little taxable income. So that's going to be really popular. And I think it will help people spend more in retirement and be able to live more comfortably. So I believe that will probably not be wiped out, but you never know. Even the things they say they make permanent, nothing's permanent except the fact that we will pay
Right.
taxes. Right.
And like we talked about on last show, we talked about FDR in the 30s giving his famous fireside chats, talking about Social Security never being taxable. And then, in 83, them putting that 50% bracket in where 50% of your benefits are taxable. And then in 93, they put the 85% bracket. So now we still have the 50 and the 85. However, you have also the $44,000 to $48,000. And again, things are still to be clarified. Like Tony said, we're almost 1,000-page book here. So you're
Yeah.
you're reading the Bible, and I still don't understand why politicians and lawyers can't just make bullet points or like a nice little PowerPoint and then sign it or something.
Right, right, and keep out the problem with Congress and our government, and this isn't any particular party, this is all of them. They have to overcomplicate things, and they have to just load it up.
Mhm.
I would have rather had the beautiful bill with some of these key tax changes than the big beautiful bill. The big part we didn't need. The beautiful part we need, but they always overdo it. They have a hard time simplifying things. I love your idea, Bill. This is why Altman for president shirts are being printed as we
Right.
speak, and bumper stickers that say Altman for president. Bullet point it. Every bill should be bullet points, and it should be limited. Like there should be a rule. You can't have more than 15 bullet points per bill, and
Yeah.
you get up to 15. And the
Or it's like
better,
your college essay, no
yeah,
more than 500 words.
right, right. It has to be at least to make a bill worthwhile. It should have at least 3 bullet points and no more than 15. Right. And
Right.
these are the laws we need.
Right.
Just simple. And each bullet point has to actually do something.
Yeah.
Right.
No filler, right? No, we don't
Yeah.
need any pork.
Yeah. No pork, no
Yeah.
filler.
Yeah.
Although I do, pork belly.
Yeah. Little pork belly's good.
Pork belly tacos at this place in downtown Stillwater called Stillwater Proper, where you and I went. The pork
Oh,
belly
sure.
tacos are to die for. Anyway,
Yes.
I digress. I digress. But speaking of eating healthy, though, we go from pork belly to actually eating healthy. Bill, you look about 10 years younger than the last time I saw you, which was probably a week ago, but I don't know how you do it. Every week you're trimming down, you look fit. What's your secret?
Well, I think it's eating healthier, and as you get older, and taking care and everything in moderation, and we've all been taught that, right, in the past, everything in moderation.
Sure.
But life goes on, and you have kids that are in activities, and people listening know, and you have grandkids that are in activities. You're watching your grandkids, you're babysitting them, you're going on vacation. Not always a great opportunity to eat healthy, right? And I think that's really important, especially not only in your working years and in your young life, but also in your retirement years and older, right? I think it's really important, and even more important, but you don't want to wait. Just like retirement planning, you don't want to wait until the last minute to start your retirement planning, right? You don't want to wait until the last minute to start taking care of yourself and your body and your health. And so, but if it does come the time that the doctor says, hey, you really need to shape up or ship out. So, or you're going to ship out. How about that? And then people are like, whoa, I got to get focused. And there's still, I would say there's still plenty of time, right? It's never too late, but it's
Right.
always better to start earlier, just like when you're saving. The earlier you start saving, the more money you're going to have. It's just math. That's all, right? The less
Right.
money you take out of your portfolio, the more you're going to have later. It's just math. That's
Yeah.
simple as that. The better the food you put in your body, the better nutrition you put in the body, the better you nourish from drinking more water, drinking less alcohol, less soda, um, doing things like whole foods, like, and not whole paycheck. I'm not talking about Whole Foods, the grocery store Whole Foods, although they have good organic stuff, I'm sure,
Yeah.
right?
You're
um
talking about foods that are
like
natural,
whole take
no preservatives.
or take a bite of a piece of celery
Yeah.
or a
Yeah.
carrot, like an actual raw food, right?
Yep.
Those type of things have all those ingredients and all those nourishments. That doesn't mean you can't eat steak. It doesn't mean you can't have a beer or a cocktail or whatever you want to have. But it just means, like, in moderation, and kind of mix it in before you can't mix it in anymore. And I
Yeah.
think that's the key, right? And
Yeah.
we need to make sure that we keep good energy levels that way. We keep good skin and good eyes. We keep our internal organs healthy and all those different type of things. And I'll give you an example. My father-in-law, Rob, he was on that juice diet. We kind of talked about him, and
Yeah.
he was diagnosed with cancer, and he beat it, and then it came back, and it was bad. And he said, you know what? I'm going to take care of this myself. And a lot of you have probably heard this story before. We've talked a little bit about it on the radio, and we had Rob on, right? Remember? Or you might not remember, but I had Rob on. We
Sure.
did a
Yeah.
show together.
I remember.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm just checking, Tony. Checking on the memory. Just worried
Yeah.
about you. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding. Kidding.
Yeah.
Tony's
Rob.
looking great too. Fantastic. But he beat this can. I don't know if you ever beat cancer, right? But he put it into remission himself without drugs. He did the drugs. He had the surgery. He had a major tumor on his spine. It came back. Not the tumor on the spine, but the cancer came back. And they said, you're going to be on, these chemo pills for the rest of your life. You're going to, constantly have to be coming in doing these scans, blah, blah, blah. He felt like crap, took care of it himself, and started juicing. Right. And this is years ago now, not a whole lot of years ago, but several years ago. He started, and he juices 5 pounds of carrots a day. And this lasts for a couple days, this mixture. So 5 pounds of carrots. He does a whole beet. He does a thumb of turmeric. He does a thumb of ginger,
Yep.
and a bunch of celery. And
Yep.
he puts it through an actual juicer, not your blender, not your Ninja on the countertop, an actual juicer. He juices it all out, and then he drinks that, and then he drinks a lot of water, and then he still eats a normal meal. Now, healthier than he did in the past, right? Where you would just go and have a burger. It's not a big deal.
Sure.
Not like he was eating unhealthy, but not the raw foods, or going and, just being healthier choices.
Hmm.
It's interesting. I sound like my parents or something right now.
Sound
Like,
like your doctor. Oh,
I've grown up.
you're just repeating what your doctor told you.
Yeah, but isn't this true in life? The decisions that we make, a lot of times, like my wife will say, it's the decisions that you make, that will lead you to the next. Everybody has that right. We are given, God gave us this right, free will, to make the decision that we want to make, right? And we can make a good decision, a bad decision, Bill Kaiser would say, a good, better, best decision, right? A poor, whatever it is. But you have that opportunity. No one else can take that away from you, I guess, unless you're incarcerated or something like that, or in a hospital. But if you're here and you're able to do different things, you can eat healthier, and you can do the juicing. You can go on some type of cycle. You can just, whatever it is for you, whatever works. Same thing with retirement planning. right? And everybody is different with that. The more lavish we are, the more we spend, the 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 less the future might hold for us, right?
Yeah.
The less money we may have, and whether you like it or not, sometimes money makes the world go round. If you want to live in, civilization, if you want to live and be able to spend money and put gas in your car and do even the simple things. Now,
Right.
if you don't and you want to live off grid and completely make it on your own, then maybe you don't need as much money, but I think you probably still need some.
Yeah.
Right. And so the more we can work on that now, the better. The better decisions that we can make in our own portfolios now, just we're dependent on where you are. It's like my daughter, she works as a CNA. We've talked about this. She's about to go off to Tennessee for college to study medicine in about a week, by the way. That's scary, right? A little bit more in a week and a half or so, we'll take her down there. But we want to make sure that that like Michaela's 401k she has a 401k. Can you believe that? She's 17. It's kind of
That's
funny.
awesome.
It has like almost no money in it. It's like I
Right.
mean, like really,
Sure.
you can't fill up my gas tank on my truck with her 401k money, right? It's not invested. But regardless, she's in like a target date fund that kind of
Sure.
it does align with retirement age, but she still has like 20% bonds in there. And this was the auto fund that they put her in based on her age. Why does Michaela at 17 years old have bonds, any bond, 1% bonds? She should have no bonds. She should be 100% in the dad says, Michaela, go S&P. We're going to find an S&P 500 fund, right? That's what we're
There
going to
you
find.
go.
I'm not telling you or any of our listeners to do that for yourself or any of your kids, because everybody is different. That's why you want to call us and work with us, and I can kind of
Right.
help determine. But I know Michaela is going to be working and doing well, hopefully. And that's my goal, right? That's her goal, I'm sure.
Right.
And I know that she's going to have a better growth potential being in that. And I know history and how it's proved itself. And so as we do that, and as we align your portfolio with your goals and with your beliefs too, Tony, because somebody might not want certain types of companies in their portfolio, or they might want something that's more morally based or socially based.
Yeah.
And we have different portfolios that do align with that, which is fantastic. It's something that's very important to us, that we are accommodating all different strokes of life, which is fantastic. That's what makes America. It's what makes our world, right? Our globe. It's fantastic that we're able to do that. But we get this together, and then we get the income plan put together. I mean, how many of you listening right now have an income plan that's put together? It's ready to roll. You know what you're going to be making in retirement for the most part. There can be a fluctuation here or there, but we're real darn close. We're within 5% or so, of what it's going to be. And that's really important. Knowing what you're going to get, knowing that you can set your own retirement dates, knowing that it's up to you. And when you're ready to retire, you're able to retire. It's not somebody else telling you when you can retire. It's you, right? And which is important. Well, let me back that up. I will tell you when you can retire. I will say, yes, Tony, you're good at 65 years old. You're solid. You're going to have the income that you desire. You and Sarah are going to be just fine. You can travel. Here's the deal, right? But you have to stay on track. You can't go goofy on me. You can't retire and decide you want to buy a motorhome tomorrow, right? Because you're going to make money on it.
Right.
You can't say, hey, I'm going to go buy this new cruiser to go cruise up and down the Missouri River with. Well, that's going to throw a wrench in it if we haven't planned it in yet. So if you want to do certain things, you have to be honest with me. And you got to say, hey, Bill, I think we want a condo in Scottsdale or something. It doesn't have to be crazy or anything, or Phoenix or Tempe or wherever, or Florida. We want to do something else.
Right.
Or, we expect to travel for the first 5 years. Remember the 3 stages of retirement: go years, slow go, and no go.
Right.
We're going and going and going, but after a little bit, you get tired of going, and you've
Yeah.
been there, done that. And then you go slow go. You might be
But you have to
perfectly
plan
healthy.
for it. But you have to plan for it. If
You
you
got
want
to
to
plan
travel the
for it.
first 5 years or get
Yeah.
a boat or get that condo, you have to plan for it. And I love how you pointed out, Tony, you can't go goofy on me. Bad news, Bill, that ship sailed a long time ago. You
Well,
know
I
that.
know, but and that's exactly why I'm bringing this up, and I referenced your name. Yeah.
Of
It-
course. Of course.
it's just, we want to make sure that you've worked so incredibly hard. You've been through hardships in your life. There's been certainly so many trials. You think back and I would have done it differently, or You might have a regret. Some people say, I have no, it's funny. You see the tattoo every once in a while that pops up online or something that says no regrets.
No
Somebody
regrets.
spelled it with
Yeah.
an A. Somebody once told me that they have and maybe some people, this is true, but they said they have no regrets whatsoever. It's not like, we are on this kind of uh, we're on this road in life. Once again, we're given free will, but you ever think to yourself, is it kind of predetermined? Are we on this road? Is God leading us down the certain road?
Sure.
Right. And we're going to run into mistakes and we have to jump over that hurdle. We got to accomplish that hurdle to get to the next one. We're going to have another hurdle that we have to accomplish. And then the ups and downs, kind of like a movie. You know
Right.
how movies
Right.
are produced. It's like highs and lows and highs and lows. Why
Yep.
do you think they're doing that? Well, they keep us watching it.
Right. Plus, it mirrors our own journey, because everybody has ups and downs and highs and lows. If somebody tells you they have no regrets, I would feel sorry for them, because that means they haven't lived. I don't think you've actually. Nobody can say. I mean, it's nice to think, "Hey, I've had a good life. I can't complain." That could be true. But no regrets at all. We all have regrets. I mean, I think if you live life, truly live life, you're gonna make mistakes along the way, and that's part of living, right?
That's exactly right. And it's the things you would have done a little bit differently. Maybe you don't take
Right.
it completely out of the equation, but you're
Yeah.
like, maybe I shouldn't have been driving that fast. I was a little careless or whatever. I'm
I would have been
that's a
putting $300 starting at 21, my first full-time job out of college and school. I would have been putting $300 a month into a Roth IRA if they had Roths back then.
well, and I'll
I'm
tell you what,
old, but
and I stress to my kids to do that same thing right now. And
yeah,
they're starting just like Michaela's little $100 401k that she has.
yeah,
But what I also tell my kids too is if they're able to invest into a Roth or contribute to a Roth IRA, I will match them. Now, this isn't going to happen for this is a high school, college. Like as soon as they can start putting in, they have to have earned income, but dad will match them. So if they're able to put in 6 grand or 7 grand, and so if they put in the three, I'll put in the three. If they
yeah,
put in two, I'll put in two. I'm not going to put a penny more than they put in, and I'm not going to I'm not going to give them the money to contribute.
yeah,
They have to put skin in the game, and to do that, they also have to work. But now you have, Braden, who looks at this account and he's like, hey dad, yeah, the S&P was up today, 0.5%. I'm like, fantastic. He's like, yeah, I made $80 or whatever. I'm like, oh, sweet, dude. That's fantastic. But now you're getting them engaged and watching it. And that's what
yeah.
I like. And that's what we help our clients do, our clients' kids do. But we plan for all those generations.
Right.
We plan for the time, Tony, that you're going to have the baby. You're looking for and this is a lot of times we're working with grand the parents' kids, right? They are kind of referred to us because we're really specializing in that retirement market, but we want to make sure that we can accommodate all. That's very important. The earlier you get started, the better, and that just helps everybody. It helps you, it helps me, it helps our economy, it helps your parents where you don't have to be dependent on them for too much longer, and everything else. So that's exciting, from tax to investments, on the Medicare side, on life insurance. Andrea and Cynthia on estate planning for your legal documents. We can really cover all your bases and take care of it and be your true one-stop shop here at the Premier Group.
There you go. I think that's fantastic. So before we go, really quick, let our listeners know, Bill, how they can get a hold of you to set up that consultation with you and your team there.
Sure. Yeah. You can always give us a call. It's the old school way, but give us a call, 402-557-6730 right here in Omaha. Again, 402-557-6730. Or you can go to our website, bigomoney.com. You can request an appointment. You can look at all the different videos and all kinds of educational material. It's fantastic. You can even create your own generational vault, completely complimentary.
Awesome. Well, thanks, Bill. Great show today. A lot of great information. Listeners and viewers, thanks for tuning in. That does it for today's episode of the Big O Money Show with Bill Altman.